Heather, will you, call the roll? Not Heather, but, Jen.
Director Holliday,
Here.
Director Brewer is absent, Director Jewell,
Here.
Director Smith,
Here.
Director Robert,
Here.
Mayor Brown is absent, Assistant Mayor Harris.
Here. There is a quorum. The next item on the agenda will be, invocation will be done by, and pledge of allegiance by Director Stephen Smith.
Please stand. Heavenly Father, just thank you for this day, thank you for this time of the year and the beautiful weather we've been having. Just thank you for the servant hearts in this room. Thank you for this city, God. Just thank you for the blessings that you bestow upon us. Just please let us all leave here with safety. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we start, citizen communication, I just want to do a little following up right quick on about the Save-A-Lot, closing. And I was going to ask, Tyler, has he been contacted about that in a way? And so have he, have you been contacted? And back to the last thing I brought up at the last meeting, I did some more research, and it said you would need a site plan and then have the owner of the current store being contacted in, and do if anybody know of that? Have the city
The
have-
owner of Save-A-Lot or
Uh-huh.
the property owner?
The property owner,
No, sir, I have not spoken with the property owner.
okay.
I've had one individual contact me about the Save-A-Lot ordeal, and I am working on it, but I don't have any updates for you or anything.
Okay. And I also know, did you get an email today, I sent you about the NLC, this morning? And I don't know if you know that there is money out there for a, railroad study. No, I remember I talked to you one time before about trying to get an underpass right there on Seaver Street, and I found out today that there is money out there to get a study done. I think the deadline is sometime next year, no, next month, if I'm not mistaken. And I just want to know, you think the city can apply for a grant or something as to try to see about a study for a underpass could be done right there on Seaver Street?
That's possible. I have not seen your email yet.
Okay,
I will say that you could complete the study, but you're talking about millions of dollars.
right. And there's money out there for that. You know, it was called grant, it was called rail crossing safety and rail crossing elimination. There's money out there for to do what need to be done at the railroad crossing, even though you got to get the railroad the railroad permission. But it may be an uphill battle, but there is money out there for that. But I was just trying to let you know, the email that I sent you, there was a Zoom meeting today about on how you can get money, how you can get grant money, and how you get money for study, and just talked about that. So
The meeting was today?
I believe so. But
You
it's probably gonna come up.
Sent the email today?
Yes, this morning. Yes, I sent it to you and Tracy. So
Yes, I've got the email.
Okay. And my last is the Seaway Bridge, right there on Washington and Seaway Street. What's the status of that for us being corrected, started on?
We're waiting to get the study back right now. I don't know, you're still probably talking about a couple months away from getting that study back. Until we get that study back, there's not really much we can do. As you know, we applied for a grant for that bridge before we had to shut it down
Okay.
because of the issues with it. And the study was already Y'all passed a resolution to authorize the study on it. The study has not been completed yet.
Okay. And then my last concern is a housing study. When are you still planning on doing a housing study for the city? Even though I would somewhat requesting that if we do start doing housing over in College Hill and Carmichael Hill area, but what's the status of you doing a housing study?
Now, we haven't spoken about a housing study. Now, we did just complete a study in conjunction with City of Texarkana, Texas, the Chamber, the Ready Group, City of Nash, as an overall. But I don't remember discussing a study with you. I remember discussing a program with you.
Well, from my understanding, you stated that you would have to do a study when we had the meeting with the other person, that you would have to do a study to determine the need. And even though you said that is a need, but yet you would have to do a study to determine what the need may be before we go any further. So
Yes, in conjunction with the program, and no, sir, I have not been able to move any further on the program.
Okay, all right. That being said, we'll go on next to the part of the agenda, it's civil communication time, and I have two persons here. I'm gonna go with the first one I believe I got, and it's Miss Ruth Penny Bell. Will you come forward? I guess will you state your address and whatever you want to say, you got to say.
Well, I've been here before. Mayor Terry. I'm going to speak about College Hill. 42 years, 44 years ago, I moved into my home, 2700 Morris Avenue. And I've been concerned, even when I was on this board, about securing our neighborhoods. And right now, would that help? I'm pretty loud. I was a teacher.
Use your teacher voice.
I use my teacher voice when it comes. Anyway, I'm noticing what's happening over there. We closed down a really good grocery store. When I moved over there, Hayes McClurkin said, "Now, Ruth, we try to frequent our own businesses. And that's a smart thing to do." And it was well run. And it's gone. Not only is it gone, the one that was left is going. Now, we know our pizza place. Now, when a pizza place goes down, that's serious, people. Something's really wrong for a pizza joint to shut down. Of course, you know, it all was like a domino effect. After Joe Owen died, now we don't even have a pharmacy over there. We are eating away at this neighborhood, and I'm unhappy about it. But now, what caused my desire to come up here and talk to you about this? Friday, I went down to the Family Dollar store. I like to buy there. But I had gotten a little disconcerted because every time I go, there are loiterers. They're sitting there. On Friday, I started out and there was this little girl sitting on a bench of some sort. And we made eye contact and she said, "Ma'am, can you spare $2 or $3? I said, "I really can't. I'm going to use my credit card." But now hers was a pleasant encounter. Her boyfriend was sitting right in front in an old dilapidated car. He was waiting for her to get a couple of dollars. I had one previously that was nowhere nearly as nice as that one was. I drove up one day and this young man was sitting there on the concrete eating on a honey bun. I got out. I did not make eye contact with him. He said, "Lady, I need some money. How much can you give me?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Now don't tell me you don't have any money. I see what you're driving." Now, people have stopped going in to the Family Dollar. You get great buys on detergents and everything that you need if you have a home. And I'm avoiding it. Now, I didn't think the little girl was going to be any kind of a problem. She was, because she was being told what to do. I've been there many times. Some I have given out. One of them came running up, and you know, there's not any great distance between the front door of the Family Dollar and where you are parked. I'll take your purchases and put them in your car. Okay, I gave him a couple dollars. He went home happy, I guess. But I went on down to the other dollar store, and I went in. And before I left the Family Dollar, I said, "Have you called the police?" She said, "You won't believe the number of times I have called the police." And the girl was standing there with her. This was a new crew, because they can't keep one. She said, "I have called 3 times in the last half hour." And I said, no one has arrived? No. I said, "Well, let's see what we can do." I was in the store probably 15 minutes. And when I went out, I took my cell phone, I called 911. I said, there is a loitering problem over here in our neighborhood. Have you sent anyone out? "We haven't gotten a call." Young lady. I said, "Young lady, I was in there standing at the office door, and I heard one of the employees made the call. And I was in there probably 15, 20 minutes. You can't get a police officer over here?" Well, I believe maybe we have had one complaint. This is what's happening. This is why people are closing down. We are allowing a few people. And the young lady that was working down at the dollar store told me, she said, "This is my home." She said, "I grew up over here." But nobody seems to care. Now, I've always stood up for our police department. I've thought we've had one of the best. Something is wrong. The little girl with whom I spoke didn't seem to be too concerned that nobody was doing anything about it. Well, since they've changed some things over there, I can't get my paper. Now at the Easy Mart up there, it's not Easy Mart anymore. They were having too many problems, and it sold. Now, what is it going to take for this group to say no more? No more loitering? No more of this? We're going to support the people. I remember when my section of town used to be a destination. You'd go over there to Dairy Queen. No Dairy Queen anymore. You had your prescriptions filled. Everybody did. Over on College Hill. Not now. And what are you doing to protect our neighborhood? You're letting someone come in to a very, I don't want to say exclusive, area of College Hill and selling a home so that it can be leased out. And they'll park and they have all these things going on. People, we need help. I don't want to move. I love where I live. I have ice cream suppers in my neighborhood, and I make oat cookies. I believe in neighborhoods, and whether it's over there off of 24th Street, or whether it's over here on my side of the street, I don't like it. And I'm gonna be as local as I can without having to aggravate people by handing the flyers. I'm asking for your help. Thank you very much for listening to me.
All right, thank you for coming up and speaking. The next person is Eddie, look like Cromwell. Oh, Edith Cromwell. Okay. Did I say it right?
Actually, it's Cole.
Who? Okay.
I want to thank Mr. Holly Bush and the board members for getting rid of the stuff on Con Street. It looked like the city of Kentucky. And I kid you not, it looked that way for months. And I finally got brave enough to call Mr. Holly Bush. And he did something to get it cleaned up. Also, I want to thank everybody that had a part in getting it cleaned up, and I hope it stays that way. Only have one other gripe, and that's at 1023 Hickory. It's just about the same way. They keep it neat on the front, but along the side and in the alley, it is another dump. And the people that moved from the Pecan Street house have now moved over to the Hickory Street house because that's where most of their activity is going on. So I'd like to get rid, and amen to Ruth. I have to say the same thing that she did. It's getting ridiculous. So thank you all for what you did. Thank you personally.
You're very welcome. Thank you for reaching out, and we're working on the Hickory Street market, or property as well.
Good. I appreciate
It's
it.
on our radar.
And before we move, if there's anyone else that want to speak during sales communication time? If not, we'll move on to the next item in this presentation. Is item 1 is present a proclamation declaring September the 16th, 2025 as National TI Professional Day. And I guess I have the proclamation here. It is a Texas County, Arkansas proclamation, TI Day, September the 16th, 2025. Whereas National TI Professional Day was created in 2015 in effort to show appreciation for the dedication tech wizards who take care of the nuts and bolts so all the city workstations are connected to a network and operate flawless. And whereas TI professional individual with complex skills, ethnic challenge, and a daunting job who plans, fix, advocate, protects, and create computer network to deliver the data efficient so city employees can serve our citizens. And whereas TI professional keep the file server serving, the email service delivering, and a counting service counting while ensuring that our computers are secure and work in a safe and healthy environment. And whereas IT professional performing daily backup and guard against disaster, both human and natural, and they make sure that the city data is safe and always available. And whereas IT professional constantly worried about spam, virus, spyware, Trojan, and other non-inferior program, also power outages, fire, flood, falling hardware, and network service glitch. And whereas IT professionals are called every day to overcome countless and new challenges, ensuring the performance of city employees and able to function smoothly. Now, for it now for it be it resolved, that I, Lena Harris, Assistant Mayor of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, do hereby proclaim September 16, 2025 as IT Professional Day in the City of Texarkana, and I urge our citizens to join in this special observance. Signed by myself and also attested by Heather Sawyer, Assistant Mayor. And who's the person that gets to?
One, two, and three. All right.
Now, the next item on the agenda is number 2, is a presentation for the Chambers of Commerce President and CEO, Ms. Robin Hickerson.
Good evening, Assistant Mayor Harris and Board of Directors and City Manager Richards. Thank you so much for having me this evening. This will be the first presentation from the Texarkana Chamber of Commerce to the city that I'm aware of. I'll be doing a similar presentation next month for Texarkana, Texas. Can we go back
Yes,
a slide? Do you have the clicker?
no ma'am, it's underneath.
Under here. Okay. Is it ready to go?
Yes, ma'am.
This on the screen is our beautiful Chamber of Commerce building. We have done some work on the building this summer as far as the landscaping goes. You know, we always like to say the post office is the front door to downtown, and I was thinking about it today, and I thought, well, maybe we're the screen door in front of the front door to downtown. We're definitely a highly visible location. We've improved our landscaping outside. We've added some security measures to the chamber as far as cameras, and we have a buzz-in entry system now. And we have upgraded our chamber boardroom. As chamber partners, you all have access to that boardroom if you ever need to have a meeting off-site. We have some new furniture in there, and we have a big television similar to the ones you have here in your boardroom, and we can cast from a laptop computer. So we're very proud of those upgrades. I don't think I'm on. Now, this is our wonderful chamber staff. Chloe Young is in charge of our events and communication. She's on the left. Amy Wren is our office manager. Berkeley McKnight does partnership development, and Hillary Cloud does business retention, expansion, and workforce development. I chose this picture because they're wearing their Texarkana, Arkansas shirts, and they are very proud to be out and about and support the city. They're all heavily invested in Texarkana. They have a great love for Texarkana, and they do what they do not just because it's their jobs, but because they're genuinely invested in community support. This is a picture of some of our board of directors and economic development committee members. We had just hopped out of a church van we borrowed. We had been on kind of a tour of the city looking at our chamber properties. We own several properties in Bowie County and Miller County. Again, a very dedicated group of volunteers serving the community, and we appreciate them very much. You have in front of you a chamber guide that contains a list of all of our chamber members. It has not been updated since we've added some members. We are now over 700 partners with the chamber. We've added about 100 new partners in the last year. This was a fun little picture we took. It's included in the directory with both of our city managers, actually, and Doug Bowers from Nash, as well as our economic development partners who are invaluable to the work that we do at the chamber. This is a piece of property that we own at the chamber. You can see in the right-hand corner, that's the Amazon property. This property butts up against the Amazon property, which was also chamber-owned property through the efforts of Rob Sitterly and my predecessor, Dennis Washington. That property was sold to Amazon. When we were out looking around, we realized this property needed to be cleared. Tyler Richards was very instrumental in helping me secure the bids and making the clearing possible. It looks really good, and it's primed and ready for someone to buy it and hopefully promote some more economic development here in the city of Texarkana, Arkansas. Also chamber-owned, this billboard. It was tattered and torn, if you remember, just more than a year ago. It's the entryway into the Robert Maxwell Industrial Park. Rob worked with his designers at Ready, and the Economic Development Group paid for the upgrade on the billboard, and it's such a nice touch to not only enter the business park, but also to direct our guests and our citizens to the brand-new, beautiful terminal. My very first act as president and CEO just over a year ago was to sign an MOU with Dr. Ross Alexander for all 700-plus chamber partners to receive discounted tuition at Texas A&M Texarkana. And I'm not sure if the city has that MOU, but it would apply to you. It's a wonderful opportunity. And I was in a meeting last week with some people from Texas A&M, and the comment was made, everybody in Texarkana is talking about higher ed. And I think these MOUs that Dr. Alexander has created are largely responsible for that. He works very well with University of Arkansas Hope Texarkana, as well as Texarkana College for transfer scholarships. And then, of course, both of those entities help us with workforce by giving the credentials and the certificates so that often our high school students can go straight from high school to work. And that's very important. We want them to either go work, to college, or the military. We have 7 signature events at the Chamber. This one is our premier event. It's the annual celebration. Last year, we snagged a pretty cool keynote speaker, Truman Arnold. If you were there, it was a night to remember for sure. And we have our annual report during that meeting. It's really brief. It's mostly giving out awards to community members, and it's always a great evening. It'll be January 24th. 2026. I hope all of you can make it. The city is always well represented at that event, and we appreciate that. We have an ask-in to a speaker I think you'll be really excited about. We hope to hear from them in the coming weeks, and it'll be another great night. And our theme is the same, Wild, Wild Texarkana. State of the Cities, one of our premier events. The mayors always speak at that event. Year before last, it was held at Cross Ties on the Arkansas side. This past year, it was held at Texarkana College, and next year, we hope to host that in Nash. Women in Business was wildly successful this year. We had it in downtown Texarkana, had a packed house at Silver Moon on Broad. In the morning, that session was all about building your business and talking to women about finance. It was very empowering. In the afternoon, we talked about health and wellness and giving back to our community. And we were able to give out 2 really nice awards that day. One was a Lifetime Achievement Award to Dot Williford, and then we gave our Woman of the Year award to Leslie Ledwell. And there's a nomination process there, so be on the lookout if you know a really successful woman that you would like to nominate next year. We would love to see that grow. We had really surprisingly successful State of Downtown, again to a packed house at the Palm Room in the Grimm. Tyler Richards and David Orr facilitated that conversation with several members of our downtown businesses, and it was a great lunchtime activity. I think we'll do it again next year. It was so popular. And then coming up on September 25th, we have State of Economic Development. That will be at the Canvas Event Center on Texas Boulevard. We'll have our economic developers, Tex Americas, our Tex Ready, and the City of Nash, or Nash Business Park, as well as Richard Reynolds with Reynolds Realty. And he'll talk a little bit more about restaurants and grocery stores and retail and things like that. So we hope you all can make it. I think the city's already purchased some tickets, and we'd love to have you. We really like to get out and about and be around our businesses. We spent an entire day in downtown Texarkana. We visited with Joseph Raymond, one of our chamber partners. We spread out and had lunch with our board in the various downtown restaurants. It was truly a great day. We stopped by the city and visited with Jamie, and we are going to do more of that. You can expect to see us. We have a couple scheduled on the Texas side next, and then we'll be back in Arkansas probably after the first of the year. And we're just trying to walk in and talk to people and find out what they need and how we can help them to grow their businesses. This was a wonderful ribbon cutting at Kim Care in Texarkana, Arkansas. Many of the city employees were there, and it was another very successful ribbon cutting. That's something that's very beneficial to our smaller chamber partners and our small businesses and nonprofits, because it helps market the businesses and get their names out there. And it also, you know, if they have a storefront, it puts people inside their business for that ribbon cutting, which makes them more likely to return as customers. We also do site visits and tours. You might recognize on my left, that's North Heights Community School. They invited us to participate in their Micro Society Day, and we enjoyed that. And then the picture on my right is at the Turk plant. That was sponsored by SWEPCO. We had a fairly large group attend that site visit. We've also been to Domtar. We've been to Goodyear Cooper. We spent an entire morning out there. That helps us learn about workforce needs. It helps us talk to our patrons when they are in need of employment about jobs that might be a good fit for them. We've been to Red River Army Depot and also Texarkana Aluminum. We have a tour scheduled with Graphic Packaging in the future. If any of you would like to come along, you're welcome to do that. Our legislative day in Arkansas, we were small in numbers, but it was an action-packed day. Again, the city was there in full force, and we appreciated the cooperation from the city and the support. We have these every other year, so we won't have one in 26. We'll have another one in 27. The chamber has been heavily involved in the Red River Army Depot conversation, along with others. We took a trip to D.C. in June. That was paid for by the Military Affairs Committee. We were able, obviously, to meet with Congressman Westerman and Senator Cotton, who both recognized that Red River Army Depot is an issue that is concerning for our local economy. It's our largest employer, and many Arkansans work at Red River Army Depot. And also, it is a national defense issue of the utmost importance. So we want to always, Texarkana, Arkansas, and Texas, stand with Red River Army Depot and do what we need to do to protect the future of the depot. And I would say that we really appreciate the Texas congressmen, like Congressman Moran, who have stood with us to get funding for lengthening and strengthening the airport terminal, or the airport, which is located in Arkansas. So it's all about cooperation, and we enjoy a high level of that. Our biggest celebration the past year, Miller County, Arkansas, is 100% work ready. That tells people who are here visiting your huge site in Miller County that's shovel ready, that we have a workforce that's ready. We're not going to rob from our other industries. We are growing the pie, and we're making sure that we have people to slide into those good jobs when they are available. So if you have a business, we would love for you to sign up and recognize the Work Ready assessment. If you know someone who needs a job, please have them contact Hillary Cloud at the chamber. We can give them the assessment and hopefully put them in a high-paying job. And we're working on Bowie County as we speak, but this is a huge celebration, something we should all be proud of, and thank you all for your support in this area. And I'm going to wrap up with this. We had a pretty lofty strategic plan for our first year as a chamber staff, and we have checked almost every box. And one thing that we said is we'll know that we're better and that we're growing as a chamber when somebody wants to come visit us. And these are members of the Hot Springs Chamber of Commerce. They came here and spent a day with us, so we were really excited to entertain them here in Texarkana. They were very impressed with our city, and our chamber staff really became ambassadors for the city on that day. And I'm finishing with a final story that I shamelessly took from another organization. Dr. Holmes will recognize this story, but all of us have surely been on an elevator, and we've noticed the red button that's there, and you push that button if you have a problem, or if you need help, or if you have an emergency. Unfortunately, some of us have been in the hospital, and there's a little button there that you push if you need a nurse, or if you need some help, or if you're in trouble. You've been to the bank, and you drive through, and there's a button if you need the teller to answer a question, or if you need some information. So I have put in front of your places, along with your guide, one of these buttons. This is a Texarkana pin, partially funded by Arkansas A&P. Thank you all for that. And this is your chamber button. And I would encourage you to wear it proudly, and think of it as a button you can push if you need information, if you have an emergency, or if you just need a question answered or any type of help. We want to be here for you, to support you. We very much appreciate your long-standing partnership with the Texarkana Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hickerson.
The next item on the agenda is consent, and I guess before I start reading, does anyone have any one of those want to be pulled? If not, I'll go ahead and read them. The first item is, number 3, is approval of the minute of the regular meeting September the 2nd, 2025. The second, number 4 item is adopt a resolution to reschedule the board of director meeting in 2026 that conflict with certain holidays. Number 5 is adopt a resolution adopting, authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract for the replacement of Pinson 42nd Street Sewage Project. Item number 6 is to adopt a resolution authorizing the airport to purchase a John Deere 5100E cab tractor from United Ag in Touch. Number 7 is to adopt a resolution authorizing the airport to purchase a 2025 Ford F-250 from McClarty Ford. And item number 8 is to adopt a resolution authorizing the airport to enter into agreement with McClellan Engineering for engineering service for taxiway Delta extension. So what is the desire of the board?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say no. When the consent agenda passed. The next item is on the regular agenda. Number 9 is to adopt a resolution authorizing the airport fiscal year 2026 operation and maintenance and budget. Mr. Paul.
Good evening, members of the board. Thank you very much for having me here. I'll go over some of the numbers and kind of our performance at the mid-year. So the estimated 2026 budget for operating and expenses, we're expecting revenues to be $1,721,030. The expected expenses are $2,770,023. This is an old one. This one hasn't been updated. The expected deficit was $1,048,993. We will be using some surpluses from this year to be applied towards that. So the expected city cost is about $404,000, which will then be split between the two cities. Capital expenses is $443,362. And I'll get with the expected loss or expected deficit, how that will be kind of changing. So 2024, you can see that our cost to operate the airport went up quite a bit. That was when we opened up the new terminal building. 2025, we were able to hold those costs. We worked with the two cities and have kind of put a cap on the airport for additional costs. For 2026, that's then dropping down to approximately $400,000. However, we do note that in 2027, that will be going back up to about what we would expect at that $1 million. So this is kind of a single year that you'll see a decrease. From 27 and 28, we're hoping to have the maintenance repair overhaul company coming in, and then we would get additional revenues from landing fees, fuel flowage, and from the lease there. For our second quarter budget totals, we have brought in $1,471,545. That includes the city subsidy, so without that, it is $918,172. That is 63% of what we would expect at this point. We attribute a lot to that to additional revenue that we've been getting in rental cars, which we've identified as being a lot of folks are flying in and going into the Magnolia area because of the lithium development. And so we've been seeing an uptick of a lot of rental cars. Our expenditures at the midpoint was $1,169,574, which is about 45%. So we've kept under our 50% spending for the year. Revenues minus expenditures are $301,971. Without the subsidy, we would be negative $251,403. The note there is with the revenue and expenditure being $300,000. Right now, we are projecting at current spending level that we would have a surplus of approximately $600,000 at the end of the year, which is what's turning into the credit for the next year. Operations, these are our takeoffs and landings that occur at the airport. You can see that over the last few years that has been dropping down. We've kind of leveled out a little bit. We've been working with Texarkana College to implement a flight school. From what I understand, they have just gotten the approval to start that next year. And so as they begin to get their first students in, we expect to see those operation count numbers going back up. For our enplanements are the passengers that leave from the airport. We always count passengers going out because we get revenue from them. We get $4.50 per passenger from what's called a passenger facility charge. When you buy your airline ticket, part of that goes to that, which we are then able to use for projects that specifically will benefit the airlines. Our enplanement numbers had been better in 2023 when we had 3 flights a day. They dropped down, but they have been kind of steady then through 2024 with our 2 flights a day. I'll show you where the airlines feel that this is actually a very good thing, even though we have less overall people. Parking revenue has been up pretty much since 2023. So even though we've had less enplaned passengers, the parking revenue has stayed steady. That 1 month that you see that was low was as we transitioned from the old terminal to the new terminal. As you can see here, the rental car revenue, we've had pretty much through 2024 and 2025. That's where that's been very high. It was higher than we had expected, and that's where we have some additional revenue. Load factor is what the airlines use to determine whether or not a flight is profitable. You want to see at least a 70% load factor. And you can see since they went to 2 flights a day, those flights have been on average about 75% full. Our goal is then, as we go into next year, we would be talking to the airline about restoring a 3rd flight. Although we would really like to have a flight out to Charlotte, our concern is if we only have 1 flight a day, if there's weather or mechanical issues, then it will create a lot of complaints from people if they have to wait a whole another day to be able to get loaded onto another aircraft. And so we feel it's better to build out the 3 flights to Dallas and restore our passenger counts there. We will also be going after a low-cost carrier airline to come in around summer of 2027 as soon as we've extended that runway. Landing fees are what we charge to both the airlines, and we also charge a landing fee to aircraft that are over 12,500 pounds. And so this reflects a lot of the jet traffic. This was implemented in 2020 after we'd seen a substantial loss in revenue due to COVID, and we have maintained this. And so this brings in approximately $60,000 a year for us now. We are also now starting to track fuel flowage specifically from the fixed-based operator. They pay us a fee. In years past, that fee had been closer to about 7 cents a gallon. We've now split it. Jet traffic pays 20 cents per gallon, and the smaller piston aircraft only pay 10 cents a gallon. And so then that is, again, attempts to increase some revenue. And then our next board meeting will actually be September 25th, which will be next Thursday. We invite any of you to come if there were any questions from members of the board.
During the workshop, I didn't quite, the solar that
Yes.
we've got, where are we at? I mean, it's completed, correct?
Yes, we're going through the process now. The city has set up an account to actually receive those funds. We were working with the solar company to make sure that all the invoices are put in so we can do a drawdown. As soon as the payment has been made, then they can actually activate the solar itself.
Gotcha. So a time frame roughly?
I don't know how long it will take for the payment to be made, but we've been working with Sheena, and all of the account has been put up, and I know that the invoices have been sent over, so,
Thank you.
yes, sir.
Daddy, another question?
Yeah, I got,
Okay.
I got just kind of some follow-up questions from the workshop the other day.
Yes, sir.
Landing fees, when's the last time they were increased?
So landing fees for the airlines have stayed pretty steady, probably over 10 years. It's about 92 cents per 1,000 pounds. The landing fee, when we set it for basically the general aviation crowd, that began in 2020, and it is held at $2 per 1,000 pounds. It has not been increased since then.
Any thought of perhaps increasing that some?
We can certainly, yes, when I meet with my board this Thursday, we'll be discussing the rates and fees you requested. I can also bring that up as well.
I just want to go through a few things over here.
Yes, sir.
On the, under the total revenues, I mean, on the expenses, I'm sorry. We've got 24,000 for parking expense. Exactly what is that?
So the parking expenses are, we actually have to pay taxes, income tax basically, on it, and we have to pay the credit card processing fees. So usually when that fee is higher, that means that we're processing more parking. So that's actually one that you want to go up.
So, okay, so that doesn't actually relate to any kind of physical repair to anything on the parking lot or anything?
No, sir.
That's administrative costs or something, right? Travel and train. We've gone up this year, or 2026, to $36,000, up from $12,000 last year, $16,000 in the past. Substantial increase.
Yes, sir.
I saw your note that you're more seminars and everything. Is that
So I have attended a conference called Jumpstart. That's where we actually get to sit down with the airlines. It's sort of like speed dating. You move between the different airlines, and you'll usually have with you a consultant who will then give numbers about different markets that we would like to try to convince the airline to set up a flight from. I attend the Southeast chapter of the airport, the accredited airport executives, basically other airport directors for our region in the Southeast get together annually and we'll meet and we can discuss different problems or basically solutions that we come up with different challenges. And then there are other ones where like there can be the annual conference. There is the state of Arkansas has an aviation association. I was requested to allow board members to be able to attend. So making sure that we can either bring members from the Ready Group or actually having the board chair or vice chair be able to attend like meetings with the airlines. And so that was increased to be able to cover their flight, hotel, and then attendance to these various conferences.
So will be to include some of the airport directors in this, or where
Yes,
most of it in the past has been mostly for you, is that correct?
that is correct.
Now, again, I got an electric bill, 75,000, and then that's for the terminal, right?
There are two separate line items. One is for the electricity for the entire airport minus the terminal, and then the other one is solely for the terminal.
I'm not seeing a note. We've got a I'm looking for the non-terminal electric costs. What was the total on that?
75,000.
That's for the terminal, isn't it?
No, that's the non-terminal. The terminal is 90.
Yes, there's the line item for electricity for the airport,
Okay, that's for the non-terminal.
and then you have one down here that says terminal electricity.
Yeah, okay, I had them back. Yeah, I didn't go far enough. Sorry. I think I asked during the workshop, the non-terminal expense for electricity. That's the
That-
fire station, and the lighting, all that, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that not a high cost for that? I mean, is that what it's typically is?
Yes.
I mean, it's gone up, well,
Utility costs have gone up over the last 3 years quite a bit. That's just been a reflection of the cost of electricity.
I can, I can see in 2024, your cost was 66,000, so that's not a substantial increase, so, all right. Okay. The law enforcement payroll, substantial increase. We're going from 111,000 last year, 135 or 114 of 2024 to $2,001. A large increase. Why is that?
So we were discussing having a third shift for our police officers. Currently, the police officers are at the airport to cover basically the two flights that are going out. We have had incidences in the past where people have breached the airport basically in the night, and we wanted to make sure that we would have somebody on site. Now, we've been working with the police department about potentially transitioning our law enforcement officers back into being fully covered by the Arkansas Police Department. That is still a work in progress, so we wanted to make sure that we maintained the payroll on the on the budget while we work through that process. But it is the intent that we would work with the city to basically find another mechanism to lower the cost down for the law enforcement officers.
But your increase up to the $201,000, that's for increase in personnel, is that right?
Essentially is to, yes, it's to allow them to work another 6 to 8 hour shift.
Okay, now I see the electricity cost for the terminal at $90,000. And we're hoping next year the solar will help in that regard, correct?
It will essentially be offset by the payments that go to the solar lease. And so instead of paying the electricity directly, we'll instead be making the payments on the lease.
That's pretty much all I'm.
Yes, sir.
Does anyone else have any question or comment? Does anyone?
Well, I got one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Again, you will encourage your board to try to increase revenues at every possible means, by every possible means, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, we'll be looking at, I'll bring up the landing fees. We're going to be looking at the covered and undercovered parking. And then we will look at, what other basically leases are available. Mostly that's the T-hangers, but they recently, within the last few years, had come up a large amount. And so we want to make sure that, we're mindful about bringing up costs, but we will look at that.
I mean, this year, and I'm just talking, this year it's going to be a pretty easy sale for the board, I think, to get this passed, because our subsidy is not that great this year as compared to what we paid last year. But next year, we're going up to back where we were, having to come up with a substantial subsidy for the airport. So next year, it may be not as easy a sale. So every way to whittle those numbers down will make the selling a lot easier.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Does anyone from the audience want to have any question, comment about the budget? If not, could you read the resolution?
Whereas the Texarkana Regional Airport fiscal year 2026 operations and maintenance budget has been submitted to the Board of Directors for approval. And whereas the proposed budget has a $404,697 deficit, with the Arkansas side portion of the deficit being $181,345 and the Texas side portion being $223,352. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the Texarkana Regional Airport fiscal year 2026 operations and maintenance budget attached hereto and made a part hereof is hereby approved and accepted, passed and approved this 15th day of September 2025.
Okay, the budget been read. What is the desire or the direction to do the board want to go with this?
Motion to adopt?
Second.
It been motion and second. Can you call the roll, Eugene?
Director Hollybush,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Harris.
Yes. The budget hereby passed 5-0. The next item on the agenda is, number 10, is to adopt a resolution to adopt the Texarkana Regional Airport fiscal year 2026 capital budget. Mr. Paul again.
I think he might have summed that all up in one.
Yeah.
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 Do you have anything to say with this one?
I guess the things we'll point out with this are for this amount that it will be for matching funds for 3 grants that we will be getting from the State of Arkansas Aeronautic Division. We are also going to be putting some funds aside annually for IT replacement. This was a recommendation by the city's IT to make sure that every few years they have to replace all the computers and things for security purposes, and we don't want there to be a large impact in that request. And then there's also a amount that will be kind of banking over the next 5 years for the replacement of one of the fire trucks that we have, the smaller one. The FAA only will provide a grant for one of the trucks, and we are going through the process of replacing that larger truck. The smaller truck, which is about 15 years old, is about $500,000. So instead of requesting that in one bite, we figured we could extend the life of that vehicle out a few years and instead create a fund to try to replace that.
All right, do any board member have any questions? If not, do any audience have any questions coming? If not, thank you. Could you read the resolution?
Whereas the Texarkana Regional Airport fiscal year 2026 capital budget has been submitted to the Board of Directors for review and approval, and whereas the proposed budget being $443,362, with the Arkansas side portion being $198,671, and the Texas side portion being $244,691. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the Texarkana Regional Airport fiscal year 2026 capital budget attached hereto and made a part hereof is hereby approved and accepted. Passed and approved this 15th day of September 2025.
Okay, what is the direction do the board want to go with this
Move
resolution?
for adoption.
Second.
It been a motion and second. Could you call the roll?
Director Hollybush,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Harris.
Yes, with a 5-0 vote, the resolution hereby passed. Next item on the agenda is item number 11, is considered a hearing, is conduct a public hearing regarding placing 26 lien on overgrown lots. The public hearing hereby open.
This is the weed lots, liens that come up. They've been billed, they haven't been paid, so we place liens on them, try to recover some of our money.
Does anyone, let's see, we have any more questions or comment? Does anyone from the audience want to speak in regarding to the public hearing? If not, I'll say the public hearing is closed. The next, would you read the resolution?
Whereas notice was given pursuant to Arkansas Code annotated section 1454-904 to the property owners of the properties listed in Exhibit A of a hearing before the Texarkana, Arkansas Board of Directors to determine the amount of the lien, if any, to be placed on the properties for the expense incurred by the city for removal of overgrowth, trash, and debris from nuisance properties of such parcel of real property under the provisions of Arkansas Code annotated section 1456-201 and Arkansas Code annotated section 1454-901 and the Code of Ordinances, the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, including without limitation, Chapter 11, Article 6. And whereas such notice was given pursuant to applicable law more than 30 days prior to the date of the hearing, and stated that the hearing on the matter will be before the Board of Directors on September 15, 2025, commencing at 6:00 p.m. in the Texarkana, Arkansas boardroom. And whereas a hearing on such claim by the city was held this date pursuant to said notice and in accordance with the provisions of applicable law and the Code of Ordinances, the City of Texarkana, Arkansas. And whereas the properties at issue, property owners and lien amounts, with the amount of the lien on each said parcel being the city's incurred expense for such parcel, plus 10% penalty as provided by law, including without limitation, Arkansas Code annotated section 1454-904, are listed on Exhibit A attached hereto. And whereas the Board of Directors has determined that there should be certified to the Miller County, Arkansas tax collector to be placed on the books as delinquent taxes the amount set forth for each said parcel of real property. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the amount set forth for each piece of property in Exhibit A are hereby certified to the tax collector for Miller County, Arkansas for placement on the tax books as delinquent taxes on the respective parcels of real property identified and described therein and collected accordingly as provided for by applicable law, including without limitation, Arkansas Code annotated section 1454-901. Passed and approved this 15th day of September 2025.
Now, do any board member got any other question or comment?
I just got a question.
Director.
All these are $220 each. Tyler, how successful are we in collecting these? Pretty successful?
These weed lot liens are placed on the front end on their taxes, so they have to pay these before they can pay their property taxes. So we do collect these.
Good. That's all I have.
Okay, is there any other question or not? Last comment, does the audience got one more last chance to say anything about these liens? If not, what's the desire of the board?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
It been motion and second. Could you call the roll?
Director Hollybush,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Harris.
Yes. Moving along, item number 12 is to adopt a resolution authorizing and directing the city manager to enter into a lease agreement with Gateway Farmers Market. Mr. City Manager Tyler Richard.
So our current lease with Gateway Farmers Market is expiring, so this is just a renewal here for another 10 years. Everything seems to operate smoothly out there. We've got no issues, so I don't see a problem with moving forward with another 10 years.
Is there a reason why it's 10 years?
The last one was 10 years. We didn't seem to have any problems there that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Does this include the green space where they put that butterfly weed garden or flower garden?
It is,
Because it's listed as two different parcels there, so I didn't know if they had rented that area before from us, or if we were adding that.
no, this is the same lease as it was last time. Sorry, I'm trying to pull it up here real quick. Yes, it does.
Okay, does any member from the audience want to speak for or against this resolution? If not, could you read the resolution?
Whereas the Gateway Farmers Market wishes to lease two parcels of property generally located at Jefferson Avenue and Broad Street, adjacent to Nix Creek for the purpose of operating a farmer's market, all as more specifically described and on the terms and conditions set forth in the attached lease agreement. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the city manager is hereby authorized and directed to enter into a lease agreement with the Gateway Farmers Market, said agreement to be attached hereto and made a part hereof, passed and approved this 15th day of September 2025.
So, what is the desired direction of the board with this
Motion to
resolution?
adopt.
Second.
The motion, the resolution been motion and second. Could you call the roll?
Director Hollybush,
Yes.
Director Jewell,
Yes.
Director Smith,
Yes.
Director Roberts,
Yes.
Assistant Mayor Harris.
Yes. Moving along to, next to the last item, and then any board or director got any commentary?
I just want to bring everybody's attention to National Night that's coming up. That's going to be on October the 7th. That'll be the Tuesday after our next board meeting. For the last couple of years, Sparklight has generously donated some directional signs for our neighborhood block parties, and they have done that again this year. So those signs will be available at City Hall for anybody that's hosting a neighborhood block party. You can come pick those up, or I can bring them to you. But that gives police officers and firefighters a way to find you easier and to let the community know that you're hosting a party.
Okay, do any other board member got any?
I have to speak for Pastor Owen, since she's not here. But we did our community cleanup Saturday and had a tremendous amount of trash picked up. We went into certain areas, mainly, we concentrated in Ward 1, and I think, Danny, you were there, and I think y'all did a lot in Ward 5, and, I mean, there were many, many stacks, and it was very successful, and for those of you that participated, thank you.
Any other board member got any question? If not, the next, board meeting will be Monday, October the 6th. And if not, adjournment, and I'm gonna do it this way again. All in favor for adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.